How old are you and how is your life really going? Story 1. I am age 75. I live each day to the fullest because I know that I have a limited number of years remaining. Answer. What does living each day to the fullest look like for you? I am mid-20s and over the past year or so have started to really feel how the years speed up, and I honestly sometimes get scared to passing that I'm letting my life slip through my fingers. I'm working steadily, saving for a house, investing, doing all the quote-unquote safe, responsible things, but I feel like there's more to life that I'm missing. Any advice from an older, definitely wiser human? Story 2. 63. Life is pretty outstanding. Knock on wood. My wife and I both have well-paying jobs that don't demand we work a zillion hours a week. Our household expenses are limited to the mortgage, insurance, and utilities. The rest is pretty much going into investments and travel. Our health is good. Again, knock on wood. Our 3 kids all have decent jobs, health care, and places to live. And they all like to drop by the place and shoot the breeze with their folks. We have a wide array of friends and interests. Wanting more in life just seems greedy. Story 3. 15 and great. I have significantly less homework than I have had the past week, and I am enjoying it while it lasts. Story 4. 21F. I'm probably at one of the worst times in my life, to be honest. My boss cut my hours from 15 to 3 hours a week, minimum wage. So now I make 35 a week. My best only friend moved hours away, and I've gained weight from stress eating. Although I have an analysis for depression mental illness next week, so hopefully I can help myself feel better soon. Answer. Everyone goes through shoot times. Yes, some have it worse than others, sadly. But keep your head up. It's okay to not feel okay all the time. Just don't let it get to you. Jobs come and go. I was in retail for 5 years and dislike every moment of it because they treat you like shoot. I'm now a custodian at my district and love it. Find that job for you. A few hours away is a lot better than across the states. I don't get to game with my friend anymore since he is on a different time zone. Not entirely sure what kind of message, if any, I was trying to give. Just know things will get better, and you got this. Story 5. 35 years old, very quietly, struggling immensely. I live on my own. I get my bills and rent paid, and I work and sleep, and work and sleep, and work and sleep. Was in a relationship for 8 years. We mutually split a couple years back. Since then, I've just been on my own. No family. Friends exist, but they're very distant because they've now got families of their own. I don't really do much these days. I hear talk from people younger than me that you just have to go out and date yourself and do things by yourself. And while I do try, it's not the same. Sure, I'll go to a restaurant alone and eat. That's fine. I'm not going to take a day trip to look at a waterfall. I'm not going apple picking. I'm not going to the beach alone. I'm not dropping a tab of acid and watching the stars on a new moon. Life was meant to be shared and enjoyed. And now that I no longer have anyone to share it with, it all feels so pointless. Answer. Dude, go see the waterfall. It fucking sucks, I get it. But do some shoot that doesn't cost much money and just get into nature alone. I'm only a few years older than you, but I fudge up my relationship of 2 decades, and the only relief outside of the work-sleep cycle was getting out for some sunshine, fresh air, and exercise. I had to make myself do it. I didn't do it because I felt the urge, but I did it and felt so much better every time. I'm super lucky, and my amazing gal decided I was worth hanging on to. But that isn't why the advice is solid. Life will work out and you'll be okay. But only working and sleeping will suck your soul from your body. Story 6. I will be 57 in Jan. Wifey died almost 4 years ago of COVID. Her family stole all of our property, 10.5 acres, our home, vehicles, RV, tractors, and the vast majority of our belongings, and put 6 of our 7 cats to sleep. Everything we had both worked for all of our lives was gone. Financially, I took a $350,000 loss, have had to start over from scratch with almost nothing, and try and build a new life, doing the best I can. Part that eats at my soul every day is that they put our cats to sleep, at least once a day. That brings me to tears. The stress isn't helping my health. Mostly got my music studio rebuilt and have had to buy equipment and instruments to replace all of the stuff that was stolen by her family. Obviously can't replace everything, but have bought what I need. 35 guitars got left behind, 6 amps and all kinds of equipment and drum kit. No longer have amps and am using amp sims. Still rebuying tools I need for building guitars and making jewelry. Now that it is starting to cool here, I need to get out walking every day and lose a bit of weight and get my cardio back where it should be. Like I said, doing the best I can. My motto is now, never give up. Story 7. 40. I just about give up and it's fine. Had my time in the sun, but the future is now hopeless in every way. Story 8. I'm 45. I started over at 45 after a falling out with my mother. It feels great, but is so fudge hard. I'm so poor it's ridiculous, but I'm happier. LOL. Story 9. 39. M. Still recovering from huge motorcycle accident. Not my fault. 2 years ago. 030923. Had to learn to walk again and have lots of injuries that will stay with me for life. Also need a complex hip replacement at some point in the future. Life has really been put on hold, though I do plan to return to work next year and try to live a normal life again. All my life consists of now is physio and gym to try and get better. I'm in a much better place than I was a year ago, though I need to keep busy or I will go insane. Happened when I came out of hospital and bedbound. Housebound. Story 10. I am almost 80 and just got a total hip replacement, making me now the proud owner of a titanium hip and knee. Had my first bladder infection since 1978, and the antibiotic is something new and strong and makes me nauseous. My daughter is making a fantastic dinner for me, and I am watching Criminal Minds, so I guess I'm doing good. Story 11. I'm 33. I am enjoying my life. I have a chronic illness I need to manage better, but otherwise, I'm in decent health. I could work out more and get more sunshine and eat healthier. I'm married to the love of my life. We live in a small apartment and want to get something bigger. We want to have a baby soon. We both work good jobs and earn decently. I just feel a bit lonely sometimes. I barely go out and don't have many friends in my city, but life is good overall, and I'm very grateful. Story 12. 28. Going pretty well. Just bought a house a few months ago, got married a couple of months before that, and was promoted at my job at the start of the year. Story 13. 38 and life is great. Married to a great woman with a house and a kid. Plus I'm in the best shape of my life. Can't ask for more than that. Story 14. 34 and life is great. I am financially stable and like my job. Done having kids and getting back into shape. Healthy and my family is healthy too. Grateful and happy with where I am today. Story 15. 32. Personally, things are well. I just dislike seeing my country turn into a fascist hellhole, but personally, I'm doing fine. Story 16. 32. It's not going bad. I have everything I reasonably need, thanks to never having kids, but I just get lonely sometimes. Making friends is super freaking hard. Story 17. I'm 43 and processing the loss of my brother from December. He was 50. I quit my job the following month. Still not working because I just don't have it in me. His birthday is next week too. Then there's the perimenopause. She's a real meanie. The cherry on top from today, I made my final payment this morning for our vacation next month, and my check engine light came on. I bought the car 10 years ago today. It tracks though. The night before our vacay back in March, my washer went bonk, and I had to buy a new WD when we got back. Answer. I'm so sorry for the loss of your brother. Cars and appliances seem to wait until the most inopportune time to cause issues. This summer, my car stopped working while I was literally driving on a Friday evening, 3 days before I was scheduled for shoulder surgery. That was fun to figure out since I couldn't drive post-surgery for a month, and as of now, I'm still actively recovering. Then my husband's car just stopped working while he was also driving, which happened to be the same week our dryer suddenly stopped drying. And it was the same week that our tax estimate payments were due for our locality. And to top it all off, my husband lost his job right around the same time. The company sucked and I'm glad he's out. But now my income is solely responsible for all of those payments and all of our bills. Even though I'm not completely recovered from surgery and my job makes me work unreasonable hours. I'm salary, so no overtime pay. But I keep telling myself that these are one of those times that we will look back on and be so proud that we worked together to make it through. But it's definitely tough in the moment, LOL. Story 18. 30 and it's fudge peak. I do awesome hikes every weekend and tons of road trips. I'm honored to be dating the best woman ever and have really great friends. I work remotely at a good job and feel I have complete agency over my life. Story 19. Reading all the comments makes me kind of sad. We literally spend our lives as slaves to the man to be able to buy an overpriced box to live in. There should be so much more to life because what do those things matter in the end? But how are we supposed to survive otherwise? Story 20. 47. I feel tired all the time, but other than that, life is pretty good. Not really sure what I would want to change given the chance. Losing 10 to 15 pounds might be nice. Story 21. 54, and already earned thousands more dollars since 2023 as a professional ukulele musician in Las Vegas than I ever thought I would earn. Well done, me. Story 22. 50. I have reinvented my life in the last few years and it is fantastic. Have started relearning math. Started learning piano just over a year ago. No prior musical knowledge. Started learning violin a few weeks ago. I am single and financially poor, but my life is now awesome and I am very happy. And thank you for asking. Slow. Story 23. 23. Not great. My relationship with my mom is fading because she chose adult beverage and I don't know my dad. Have no idea what career path I want to take and I'm drowning in debt. Feeling very lonely. Trying to stay positive but knowing I can off myself is comforting. Story 24. I'll be the big 4-0 on the 29th. I currently left teaching to get my realtor's license. Am engaged and about to become stepmom to 2 amazing bonus sons. I always wanted kids, so feel incredibly blessed. Excited for a new age and chapter. Story 25. 41. And honestly, it's so wonderful that I pause every day and just sit in stunned gratitude. Love, career, home, travel, health, fitness, finances, just all so good I can't believe it. It was not good for so many years. I just revel in how good it is every day. Story 26. 33, and just kind of realized how genuinely not great it is. I've had high-functioning depression for over a decade, and I think I even convinced myself that I was okay too. I just spent the past year unemployed after the nonprofit I work for shut down, and I spent 11 months not even applying to jobs because I felt like taking a break, even though the truth that I hid from everybody in life is my old job was actually part-time for the past several years. Nobody in my life questioned it at all because I was so good at acting like I was fine. But then I pretty much woke up the other week wondering what the actual hell I've been doing. I never really cared about making money, but now that I'm in my 30s and in America, I'm realizing how idealistic that is and that I could have saved a lot more up until this point if I had actually set that kind of goal. I've now been applying to jobs like a madman, but am now realizing that A, my skills are dated and not as marketable as they were earlier, if they ever even were. And I also feel like B, I don't even deserve to have the jobs I want after how long I've been putting it off. I'm also now wondering if I even want to stay in the career I've been in for so long, or if I even have the smarts for it anymore. I realize that I spent pretty much the entirety of my adult life chronically depressed when life wasn't all that bad. And now I'm actually situationally depressed because of how secretly troubled I've been this entire time. Oh, and I was also dumped a couple months ago because I was avoidant and closed off, and I feel too embarrassed and confused about myself to put myself back out there. So, yeah, just your usual young millennial complete and total identity crisis. Answer. I think it'll get better for you. It sounds like you're doing the things to make the changes needed. I would recommend therapy if you have access to it. Depression comes and goes, and you could use the time that you're feeling somewhat better to learn the skills to identify, prevent, and cope with depression. Also, I think you shouldn't be too worried about the skills aspect. You're only 33. You've got your whole life ahead of you still, and I'm sure you could learn the skills needed for a job fairly easily. Anybody can be trained. It just takes some time to find someone willing to do that. My job hires little knuckleheads that are 19 and can't write an email. But that doesn't mean they can't learn and get better. You've got this. My thoughts are with you and I'm rooting for you. It's going to be tough, and not every day is a good day, but take it one day at a time. Story 27. 45. Divorced a few years ago, mother of an 8-year-old daughter, raise her in my own. Struggle health-wise, building a house, have a new and stressful job. Story 28, 60 years old. Personally, I am the happiest I've ever been, but I am deeply worried about the course of current events. It seems we are heading for a serious generational trauma. Story 29. I am 38. I am single. I want a boyfriend husband. I most importantly want a child of my own. I am a good person and deserve someone who sees that. I haven't had a second date in a very long time. I thought I would have had all of this by now, but each failed date, I feel I am getting further and further away from my dream. I have depression and a limited social network. I haven't had a boyfriend since 2018. I am an only child and thankfully very close with my parents. I hide my sadness with medication and humor. I am isolated. Life could be a lot worse than this, and I know I am fortunate for what I have, but I want more for my life. Answer: thank you for being so open and honest about what you're going through. It takes a lot of strength to share those feelings, and I can hear how deeply you want love, connection, and a family of your own. You really do deserve someone who sees the good in you and values what you bring to a relationship. I actually have a friend who's in a very similar stage of life, and I think you two could get along well. If you're open to it, I'd be happy to introduce you both. No pressure at all. It could just be a chance to meet someone who understands where you're coming from. Story 30. 16. Life hasn't really started yet, I think. I try to do stuff I know I can when I'm older, like spending my day playing Xbox and whatnot. Story 31. I'm 17. I have undiagnosed mental health issues, likely bipolar considering family history and what I was told by others with bipolar. And I've been depressed for the past month, being unable to do anything productive, having tragic end thoughts and drowning in self-pity. Don't worry. Eventually, I'll have another manic episode. It'll feel like God while simultaneously destroying my entire life and not even caring about it because I just feel so great and euphoric and love life the way it is no matter what. Only to a week later feel the lowest I've ever been and fall back to trying to KMs. So yeah, overall pretty mid. Story 32. 45. It took a long time to get it right, just in time for an authoritarian takeover in the U.S. I'd otherwise be great, but with ICE literally in my neighborhood and terrorizing my neighbors, not so great. Story 33. 20. I don't have a job nor education. I'm going homeless soon since my parents can't deal with my shoot anymore. Story 34. 35. And bad. Real bad. Lost my mom in April, and it's hard. I'm my dad's caretaker, and he has dementia. We have funeral bills and medical bills on top of everything else. Then add into what's going on in the U.S. I'm stressed. I feel like I'm constantly a fraction away from a panic attack. I'm depressed, trying to grieve. I might lose my health insurance. If Dad and the cats didn't need me, I wouldn't be here anymore, by choice. But for now, I just wake up each morning and work on getting us through the day. Story 35. 60. Retired at 54. Traveled the country in an Airstream. Now settled into a beach house in the Pacific Northwest. Am content. Story 36. 39. Single mom to a toddler and doing 5 months of chemo as of today. Other than cancer, my life is actually great. I have a job I love, a close-knit family and friends. If you had told my depressed 20 self this was how my life would turn out, I wouldn't have believed it. Story 37. 73 and pretty darn good. That said, this country is falling apart. It's a constant battle to enjoy what I have versus trying to shield myself from all the crap that's going on in the world. Story 38. 48. Ready to check out. I have contributed nothing and am just taking up space, but I have good booze and good films to get me through the worst for now. Story 39. 44. Never married, no kids, polyamorous, good job, fun things to do. Good social network, no house, but moving into my friend's house, so that should be good for me. I'm really happy with where I am in life. Story 40, 43, almost 44. Hell of a lot better than 6 years ago today. Had an emergency abdominal surgery, 5 days after another abdominal surgery to deal with a GI cancer, which very nearly eliminated me. Internal bile leakage and an infection that put me into a severe case of sepsis, my second in 3 weeks, necessitated the emergency surgery. The surgeon on call when I was rushed to the OR said he didn't think I'd make it out of the OR alive. My surgeon, who ultimately performed the second surgery as well, said that it by all accounts should have been fatal. He later told me that 2 mentors of his, when he described my situation, are surprised I made it out alive. My current oncologist has affirmed this based on my chart prior to our first meeting 5 years ago. Story 41. Late 50s, elder Gen X, and things are going pretty well for me, all things considered. My life has been so much worse. I have peace, a snug, clean apartment, enough food to eat, enough money to keep the lights on, and some hobbies to keep me busy. I do, however, wake up every day with a heavy and broken heart, seeing what the world is doing to other people. I mourn for so many losses. So, while my own life is good, I carry in my heart those who are not faring so well. Story 42. 59 in 8 days, going like shoot, no job, no money, no friends, no family, really no hope. But here I am. Story 43. 39. Pretty good. Retired. Retirement income covers all living expenses. Working another job so I can spend money like it's going out of style. Story 44. I am 43 and it's pretty chill. I have a loving family. Both my wife and I have great jobs that affords us to live a very comfortable lifestyle. My son does well in school. Stress is minimal. The food is good. Nothing to complain about really. Just worried about my parents and they continue to age. Story 45. Almost 29. Pretty decent. Grew up dirt poor. Went a year with no electricity in our apartment poor. In the ghetto. And always said my goal in life was to be able to retire young, early 20s or mid-20s. Reached that goal through a lot of sacrifices physically and mentally, but came out still in decent enough condition to enjoy my retirement. Being as young as me in America and not having to get up and work with a worn-down body, LOL, is a blessing. Story 46. 50, and it's great. I realize that many are not in that position, and I wish they were. The more happy people out there, the better for all. Story 47. 46. Fit and healthy. Love my job. Happy in my marriage. Have good friends and family relationships. Great hobbies and life balance. Love where I live, just love my life. But also have been around the block. It hasn't always been this good. And know absolutely everything is temporary. And it can all change in an instant. So just grateful. Story 48. 41, and I feel like I'm finally figuring it out. Or I just don't give a fudge anymore, which is fine too. Story 49. 40s, live by the beach in SD, great wife, great rescue dogs, got laid off from a remote job last summer, have a decent job, not as good now, but overall happy and enjoying life. Story 50, almost 19, going pretty well, got a huge fan base on social media, but my family in town doesn't know IRL. Story 51, I'm 20 and a single mother. I feel very isolated, only talking to a baby and no adults really. But my baby makes me smile when I feel lonely. My baby is worth all that. But I feel a lot of resentment towards my baby daddy who had to drop out of school because of him. Story 52. I'm 55 and it's been a very tough 5 years. Right now I'm having undiagnosed health problems and feel very sick. I've always loved living alone, but doing it without much support is hard. Luckily, things are getting better with the support part, so I'm cautiously optimistic that I might get well and get to live again, not just exist. Story 53. 31. Have a house with my fiancé and a dog. Both have decent jobs and we're able to put money in savings every paycheck. It's going relatively well. Story 54. 44 and very well. I have my health, my wife and kids are healthy, a decent job, and a promising future. My country is fudge, but apart from that, good. Story 55. 24. And honestly, it feels like shoot 'em at a meaningless job, and currently handling 2 miscarriages back-to-back and contemplating the meaning of life in general. Story 56. I'm 45. Professionally, I'm doing better than I ever thought I would. Personally, my wife passed away about 18 months ago and I am sort of a wreck still. It's better than it was, but better is not good. Story 57. 37. Compared to the way I would like my life to go, it's not going very well. 1. My country is going to shoot. Everyone lives in fear of what they say because we have no true respect for the First Amendment. Instead, people in this country are more about things like sensitivity and optics. These are luxuries of friendly acquaintance, like cosmetics. As a veteran, these are not things which I fought to protect. Just today, a guy who claimed to be a veteran gave me crap because I was talking to my friend about Charlie Kirk. If employment wasn't so endangered by how much whimsical power the free market has over one's ability to be employed, I probably would have re-educated the living tar out of his skinny jerk for it, too. But even if I could re-educate him on what it means to have a freedom of speech, my back would probably eliminate me for it. 37, and I am still dealing with back issues from my time in service. I am in chronic pain, and most primary care physicians usually stick to the old adage of, you're getting old out of shape. It is demeaning, and it is not what my insurance is supposed to pay for. If I'm getting out of shape and old, make me feel younger and more energetic. Let my insurance cover a gym membership, perhaps. I don't come to a doctor here, you're getting old. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to be alive past 60 anymore. 3. But even if I had no physical issues, I feel like career-wise I am not doing what it is I have always been meant to be doing. The companies which I audition for often do not accept me. It is almost like I would have to be the last baritone on earth before they would ever take me in some cases. Being able to form opera, is the only thing left in this world that truly gives me meaning to my life, making me feel like I have purpose and capability. But why is everyone so charged against me achieving the greatest parts of that, singing in the greatest houses with that? It makes me have to ask, how would the world truly come to an end at this point, when everything is already burning down around us? If I were allowed by some of these companies to take center stage and have my shot just once before I was too old to want to live anymore. Story 58. I won't get too specific, but I'm in my late 20s. Things are fine. I've got a stable job and a loving wife. The biggest stressors are the current state of the U.S. politics and the fact that we've had our house listed for sale for over 120 days. In that order. Story 59. 31. And never-ending stress. Trying to plan a wedding for next year. Been busy with work that my friends dislike me because I need the money to survive, so I have to put them on the back burner so I can pay bills. And it feels like every time I try to check how people are doing on social media, I see right versus left political points, but nobody mentioning the corruption coming from both sides. I'm burned out, and I have a horrible feeling about the next 3 years. Just get me to my wedding day, please. Story 60. 37. I looked up my net worth in my age group and I'm in the 76th percentile, so I'm doing better than I thought. Story 61. Turning 40 next month, and things are going pretty good lately actually. For the first time in my life, I feel like things are going to be okay. Story 62. 29. Turn 30 in a month. Overwhelmed with debt. Can't picture ever owning a home. Want to be a mom but can't even make a savings account for myself. Boring job in a shoot southern town. Applying for jobs every week for over a year but never hear back. Obese from emotional eating. At least I get to come home to my dog and cats though. They keep a slight smile on my face. Story 63. 39. Everything is great. Now that I'm almost 40, I have constant anxiety about getting fired and losing it all. Story 64. 28. I felt like I'm doing a lot better than most people my age. Well-paying job, a great relationship, family is healthy, and 2 jerk cats that keep us up at night. But even with all of that, it's hard to not become a doomer with the current state of the world. It feels like the second I got my shoot together and started to figure out life, the world went to shoot, and the future started to look bleak. For the first time in my life, I'm not looking forward to the future. Story 65. 55. Didn't take many chances and made sure that life was secure and worked really hard for 30 years. Just sold my house, moved to the country to help with my family after separation. It's been hard, really emotionally hard, but I am crawling out of it. Dating at 55, fudge sucks. Story 66. I am 43, and my life is the best that it has ever been. I have a job that I enjoy, I love where I live, and I am living alone in my own apartment after spending my life cohabiting in common-law relationships, family, boyfriends, roommates, and co-workers. I feel accomplishment, peace, and gratitude. I got a recent diagnosis of CPTSD, and therapy has brought me self-awareness and healing. I exercise and enjoy my hobbies. My life looked nothing like it does today. I never thought any of this was possible until 3 years ago when I changed everything, pretty much all at once. Story 67. 37. Objectively, am doing all right. I have a roof, I eat daily, I exercise, am healthy, my job isn't that demanding. I like what I do, and am earning more than my monthly expenses. However, I have no future, and I know that many people around my age feel the same. I'm currently living with my mother after I was unfairly dismissed from my last job, so I lost my apartment since I couldn't keep paying for it. Even if I'm comfortable right now, and only right now, I just don't see how will I be able to get my own place if things don't change. I could go back to rent a cheaper place, but why, though? And most importantly, is this really it? Is paying bills all there is to life? Story 68. 35. Miserable. I'm genuinely miserable. I can't get my wife pregnant. I got tested. My dog crossed the Rainbow Bridge. 91725. I've been passed over for promotions at work. I'm a U.S. Marine veteran who went on 3 deployments, who got medically discharged for a shoulder that's still bad over 10 years later. It's hell. Thanks for asking. Story 69. I'm 33. It's good, but frustrating. I have full-time work in my Plan A career and an interesting one. I love it. My job is great. I'm laying next to my wife, my best friend in the world. Yet at my age, I'm making 3 times the salary my father did at the same age. He could afford to buy a house and support a family of 5 on a single salary as a public school teacher. It was tight, but they could do it. I can't afford to buy a house. My wife and I can't afford to have children. I know that I've worked hard and become objectively successful in a niche field, but it feels like the ladder keeps getting yanked farther and farther out of reach every year. Story 70, 44. All things considered pretty good, TBH. Could things be better? Certainly. But I have a family, and we care for each other. Fully employed with saving and house will be paid in 10 years. I am afraid daily for the future, though, especially my kids, and mostly my daughter who has to grow up in this world we will leave. Story 71. I'm 72, homeless, living in my car, as happy as ever have been. I don't like being shunned by my family. Story 72. 27M. I technically have 3 jobs and can barely afford to live. My GF is practically an ex I live with that barely works or does anything. She barely speaks to me, and I honestly don't remember the last time we had intimacy. So that explains practically and ex. Looking to find a place on my own is next to impossible, unless I don't want to enjoy the place other than sleeping. So you ask how it's going, it's a wonderful life of stress. Story 73. 31. Not great. Struggled with depression, anxiety in my 20s, and dropped out of college after a few years to focus on my health, and because I couldn't find a major I liked. Got into a 6-year relationship with a girl who, for her own reasons, couldn't hold down a stable job for the majority of that time. Been on my own with my dog for the last year and change. Struggling to get out of the credit card debt I accrued during that stretch, and looking for a new job due to insane work stress in the last few years. At least I've had a stable job at the same company for 12 years plus. Have a couple of opportunities coming up, and I really hope one of them works out to start turning things around for me. Story 74. 18. Mental health is meh. Been worse, but it's still not great. I'm working, dislike college. I have a plan for life and am determined to get there. Bored and lonely, but my mates never fail to cheer me up when they're available. But we all have our lives. Mine is drier than my friends' lives, but I'll be all right. Story 75, 32. And I'm simultaneously having the best time of my life while being the most mentally low that I have ever been. I'm finally doing the things I love. Holidays, conventions, theater shows, spending time with my friends and family. But at night, I'm also lonely, overthinking absolutely everything and thinking I'm going to be on my own and feel like this forever. Story 76. Contemplating the meaning of life and doing a reassessment of it. Turned 40 in October this year. Life is an interesting thing, and it can lead many different directions. Being white while also being part of a mixed and mostly biracial family and upbringing has made me deal with a double-edged sword. You get singled out and pushed away from one side to the other. Then the other side pushes you away as well. This puts you in the middle. Where do you fit in? Who will include you in this life? Other aspects of life continue on. I'm gay. I'm surrounded by mostly heterosexuals. Some will accept you. Some will push you away. You end up not quite in the middle at least, right? The ones that accept, they make you feel more included as if you belong. But to what degree? What will change it? A lot of things in life experience tend to mold or shape you as a person, but not always. What things do you draw the line at when it comes to your views and the views of others? Are you once again singled out because of one view? Do you seek out others with that same, similar view? What about the other views of life? Do you continue this process until you are simply surrounded by those who have exactly the same thoughts and views as you? When we seek out others like ourselves, we can try to adapt and simply mold ourselves to be like those who are different, even when sharing similarities. Where would you draw the line? So many people over the years I've been alive, I'll be 40 in October 2025, will simply focus on one thing, and that will be the only thing they focus on. For others, it will be many. Once again, the division occurs. What is considered right? What is considered wrong? Do you always do what is right to counter the wrongs? Where do you draw the line? What is best for you? Do you do it hard way or the easy way? Do you do it the long route or the short route? Who determines any of this? Do you decide who gets to determine it? What if you agree or disagree? If you disagree, what do you do? Are you being told what is best for you? Are you self-aware enough to know yourself what is best for you? The world continues to change. There is good and bad. Most of the time, you will need to learn to think for yourself. If someone is telling you what's best for you, it should be questioned. Do they have a motive? If so, what is it? Is someone telling them behind the scenes what is best for you so they can get you to do things and even think a certain way? The difference in you as an individual shouldn't be overlooked but embraced. When you lose that, you lose yourself. If there comes a time that you aren't able to look at yourself or self-reflect on yourself and you do not like what you see, it's up for you to change it. Sometimes we can't do that. Sometimes we can make excuses for it. Sometimes we blame others. This is where responsibility comes in. We can either hold ourselves accountable or someone else. This usually involves starting with yourself. Look at people and life overall. Everyone simply wants to be happy, right? Don't we all have a right to be happy? Do you want it for yourself or do you want it more for others? Sadly, I tend to always want what is best for others. I enjoy seeing others happy, even when I may not be deep down. Sure, I can pretend to be, and I've learned to master doing just that. Trauma, in whatever form, can and usually will mold you. I've dealt with enough of it. Violation, abuse, neglect, nearly dying 3 times, and other things. Even nearly dying at the hand of someone who attempted to eliminate me. All of this has led to tremendous sadness that I would never wish upon anyone. Those people similar to me that have experienced extreme sadness usually don't wang this to be the fate that others suffer. We have the tendency to do whatever we can to ensure the happiness of others, even if it comes at our own expense. This leads to us doing anything and everything for others and neglecting ourselves to a point where we end up no longer able to help ourselves. We get used and abused while giving many others far too many chances than they truly deserve. Sometimes you simply need to let some people go for your own sake, no matter how much it can hurt. We don't always do this, of course, so we suffer in silence until we die sometimes. With everything in mind, what do? Who is going to ultimately look out for what is best for you? Typically, it's you. Where do you start? If you've made any mistakes, where do you begin? Do you accept those mistakes? Did you learn from them? Can you learn from them? I ask that you consider something. Consider reflecting on what you stand for as a person. What are your morals? Do you always do what is right? No human is perfect. No human has all the answers to life. But know this, every human has a right to be happy if it doesn't come at the expense of others' happiness. I wish you well. I hope for the best. Your happiness matters. Don't lose it for the sake of others if you don't need to. Story 77, 32. Overall, pretty good. Got married a couple months ago and have several trips I am looking forward to. Story 78. I turn 30 soon. Am disabled. Given how things are going in the U.S., I expect I have 1 to 3 years left to live. My MAGA relatives tell me I'm better off as crop fertilizer. I don't see it possible to defeat such evil when we are so divided and weakened. Story 79. 23. I'm scared my dad's gonna die soon, and IDK how long my mom will last once it happens. Once she's gone, I won't have any reason to stick around. Story 80. I am 19. Life isn't easy, RN. My mom's is struggling while I work and help with the bills since I was 15. My dad was eliminated in a car accident when I was 13. I'm depressed and vulnerable. I'm fudge horny all the time and don't have a BF. And I made shoot mistakes that make me feel worse. Story 81. 42. Unemployed IT professional. Just ended a 3-year relationship. 24 interviews in 5 months. No results yet. Car took a shoot on me due to transmission issues. No funds to fix or buy a new one. At least I have my health in the house. Story 82. 29. Married. Own my home in SoCal. Own my dream car. I have 2 bio kids, 1 step kid. We have a hefty retirement savings, stocks, ACs, etc. We are both first-gen kids who had nothing and really worked hard for the life we have now. We were driven at young ages. Overall, very happy and full. Story 83. I'm 33, and honestly, it is not great, but, and I emphasize this, but I am taking it 1 step at a time. Whether I stumble or run, I am finding joy in the little moments, and I am grateful for every breath I breathe. Story 84. 38. My life is better than it has ever been. I have a GF, a job, a roof over my head, and a cat. My medical issues are roughly in shape. My fitness level is not horrible. It's hard sometimes, but I have known worse. Story 85. 19. In better than the last half of my life, I had a lot of misfortune due to mistakes of mine. But hey, at least all my hard work is somewhat paying off. And now I'm going to college for almost free. A little nervous cause my classes aren't easy, but hey, at least I'm in a healthy relationship with a loving family supporting me. And meds, love my antidepressants. My therapist on top of that. Story 86. 48 and crazy. Just adopted a kid from foster care. She was already TPR, I didn't foster her. That's been crazy. I love her, but her central nervous system is trying so hard. In a job where I love the people I work for and not my coworkers. Married, happily, but also struggling with the kid. Parents are sick and trying to help them on both sides. Life, trying to make it, living my best life. Story 87. 33. It's hard to say. On one hand, I'd say I've got a pretty good job and am independent. On the other hand, I've got no wife and kids. Other than that, I've got no real connection to most other people. Makes me lonely. Story 88. 42 and extremely bored. Feels like I am just going through the motions. Eat, sleep, work, repeat. No idea how to get out of the rut. Story 89. 45. I am happy with my life. There are changes I would like to make, including location eventually. But where I am gives me a lot of what I want, so pretty satisfied. Married happily. I do something I love for a living. It will never make me rich, but it's enough. So life goes pretty well. Not perfect, but close enough. I have no complaints about my current situation or direction. Oh, I am having a thing at the moment between my scapula and spine. Pulled something earlier. It is uncomfortable and it hurts, but it will pass. Story 90. 20. Been at a record low mentally for a good while now. I expect things to hopefully get better soon with time. Story 91. Early middle 20s. Tough, but I am still standing. Long story long, I found a job after 5 months of unemployment, then had to deal with mobbing, and after that I found a fudge gem of a job. But I am still stressed since in my new job I am the only full-time employee in my part of the department, and my 3 colleges are 1821, and they leave a mess behind themselves when they do not feel like working, or do not show up for work just because they have a life. And my supervisors are just told me to do my way because they cannot force them to work. Very specific contract. Also, I am trying to figure out my way through my master's degree. I've changed my university, and honestly, the new one is much better, but the information flow is non-existent. I have to figure out every single class requirement on my own. Syllabus hasn't been updated since 2018. There is no teams as well. However, I do have some friends from my bachelor. Their friendship keep me kind of sane sometimes when I feel burnout or like I am not achieving anything and wasting time. So yeah, there is happiness, but mostly it's tough. Story 92. 36. Twice divorced. Most recent one cheated on 6 months in. Left me all sorts of fudge up and have kind of lost sight of any sort of happy future. I have a decent paying job. I have a couple friends, but I've lost meaning in life and have realized that I just don't want to do this anymore. I can't find joy in life anymore, and it's real hard to hang in there. Story 93. 29. My career in biomedical engineering technology is going great. I'm getting trained on more high-tech equipment every few months, which means better pay and a sense of accomplishment. Married 2 years ago to a great woman, and we're saving up for a house. Great relationship with my family, which is a bonus. Obviously, there are times where I feel like I should be farther than I am, but I have a lot to be grateful for, so I try to focus on that. Story 94. 27. On the one hand, I'm slowly making progress in my CPTSD and OCD, but ultimately, I am still non-functional. Story 95. Going fairly well, 32M. Just hit 10K in my savings. May not be a lot, but it's an achievement I'm proud of. Going to try to hit 20K next year somehow. I do wish I had a better job as I'm earning 70K YR. It'll get there. Married with a son on the way due next month. Wife is great all around. Sure, we have our arguments here and there, but we always set things right by the end of the day. And she is an amazing cook, thank God. So all things considered, pretty good right now. But I'm definitely not trying to be complacent. I want to grow more as a father and in my career. Story 96. 17. And I would like to say it's not too bad, but I'm heavily worried about my future. Tragic end thoughts have terrifyingly worsened since the start of the studying, since September 1st. I've had some ambitions, however I'm losing all of it, because of barely interested parents mostly, I believe. Hardly anyone knows about it, just one friend could suspect, not knowing for sure. But I do receive support from the friends. I've just hard psychological testing provided by the school for every student. Despite me lying there, I'm still anxious about anyone figuring out. Pre-year when we had it, I did lie, but the school psychologist called me to go through the testing again, since I had emotional volatility, instability. Story 97, 28 and awful. Next week about to move house for the 4th time this year. Housing crisis fucking sucks. I've been dealing with tragic end thoughts on off, but then I think about my cat and who's gonna give him a forehead and call him a good boy. I'm okay for now. I've increased my antidepressant dose and have reached out to friends. Story 98, 23. Cut out my mom, dad, siblings, grandparents, and every friend I have voluntarily by just being a piece of shit and not knowing how to pick up a phone or respond to a text. I blocked everyone out of embarrassment and deleted all social media. I live a sad life of showing up, go my minimum wage job, showering at the gym, and then sleeping in a park, alley, or my car. Debating going full-time hobo, but still unsure about quitting job. Story 99, 31 and married with 2 kids. I made a lot of financial, educational, and career mistakes when I was younger. My job is stable, but not high-paying or rewarding in any way. It's essentially glorified process and data entry work. As they say, it pays the bills. I'm just grateful my wife earns a lot more than I do. She's a teacher, and thankfully they pay teachers well here in Australia. I've considered going back to uni to get a higher paying job, but every time I enroll, something comes up in my personal life, and I have to put that on hold to return to full-time work. Plus, I never want to make my wife feel like she needs to worry about supporting me, our kids, and the household by herself. I'm not really sure where life goes from here, career-wise. There isn't much moving up at the company I work at, and I worry about applying to other jobs where the job security itself might not be as strong. I've been at my current job for just over 3 years now, so I feel comfortable in the stability. So really, I'm just going with the flow. Some days life is beautiful, and others it's monotonous. But I've recently realized that those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. I love watching my kids grow, but I also need a break sometimes. Most days I love being married, and others I miss being single. But not for the obvious reasons. I just sometimes miss not having people depend on me for financial, mental, physical, or emotional stability and support. There's a high likelihood that my comment remains buried at the bottom of this post, but it felt good to type this all out. Story 100. 28F, I'm not struggling as much as before. Life is good right now. Currently working on myself more, rebranding my life and making big changes for the better. Story 101. 25 life is going great. Alhamdulillah. I have more or less everything I have ever wanted. Not rich necessarily, but decent job. Amazing wife. Only thing that would be nicer is if parents lived somewhere nicer, and if I could make things easier for them. I am very grateful. Story 102. 36 and not great. Stuck and coping with untreated depression, anxiety, OCD, and possibly covert narcissist disorder. Also jobless for over a year and living with family. 2 seniors, aka mom and grandma, with their adopted 3-year-old severely autistic child. I have no IRL local friends, obviously single, and only have a handful of online friends contacts I talk to. Story 103. I am 25. I thought I wouldn't be around past 18, so the fact that I am still here is actually amazing. Besides my financial struggles due to poor money management on my behalf, my life is pretty great. I live in my childhood home with my 76-year-old dad. I have a home gym, 2 cats in the house, my own car. I work a 5-minute drive away from home and have a job where I pretty much just sit and wait for the shift to be over. I have an amazing boyfriend. We share a 29-year age gap and have been together for over 2 years. We are currently furnishing a bedroom and bathroom in his house that he built when he was still married. But then he moved out of the country, so the house was never finished. He came back 2.5 years ago. We met, and now we are furnishing that place so we have somewhere to be besides rented apartments. He lives in his mom's house, me with my dad, so bringing one another home would be awkward, LOL. I also feel the need to mention that everything I have, the car, the home gym, I paid for myself. Took me years, but I did it. No one ever bought me anything as an adult, besides some small gifts, of course, but the big stuff, all me. I also have a pretty neat collection of household appliances that I purchased myself that I am very proud of. I would like to eventually find a different job. I work in a bet shop now, but I want to stay here for a while longer because it is close to home and my dad likes to drink, so it's better that I am close by in case something happens. The only thing I struggle with, besides my poor financial decisions, is my mental health. I endured a lot of abuse throughout my life and a few extra traumatic experiences. A bus crash, for example. So I have BPD now, but have been working on getting better lately and it's been going great. I also have 17 tattoos, which my teenage self would be very proud to see. Story 104, 31. Normally my life is great. This week has sucked, but on the whole, I've done really well for myself. Story 105. Not great, but what can I do about it? I'm 16 and still young. Maybe it'll get better in the future. All I do is isolate myself and have sleepless nights. At least I'm doing well academically. Story 106, 31. Recently unemployed, struggling but trying not to give in to the depression, hoping there are brighter days ahead. Story 107. I'm 30, divorcing. I wish I had a girl to love. Other than the loneliness, my life is very fair. Live on the ground floor, rent stabilized studio, no bills, just nobody to love. Story 108, 32, and it sucks ATM. On paper it should be great, but NY mind is eliminate me, and someone is bullying me despite knowing that. Story 109, 33, and it's been a rough battle with my mental health. Finally got some meds that work, so things are starting to look up. Story 110, 37. It feels weird to be doing okay these days considering everything else going on, but honestly, the whole band thing has been working out better than I ever could have expected. Still have to work the day job when we're not on the road, but I'm basically living out my dreams. Story 111, 24. My health is not good. Getting my gallbladder removed in 2 months, so hopefully that will be a good start to recovery. Story 112, 47. Life is good. 1.5-year-old kid who is just amazingly fun and awesome, and another kiddo on the way. Wife has a killer job in marketing. I'm a developer with a really relaxing but challenging job. Only thing bugging me is I'm mad as hell at my dad for being so pro-MAGA. Got into an argument recently that I kind of started over the free speech stuff. Other than that, good though. Story 113, 35F. I'm underemployed, despite being a trained engineer, unmarried, been unlucky with dating, and feel stuck in life. Story 114, 35, and my life sucks TBH. I dislike it and I'm miserable as fuckery. Unemployed and can't return to what I know. 3 kids, broke, debt collectors, POS who abandoned his daughter, financial ruin, no home, back injury, overweight, just stuck. Story 115, 30. Life is going pretty good. Just feel stuck and indecisive about the future. Taking cafe of myself in the meantime. Story 116, 28, almost 29. Got married last year. Took out a small loan for it, but that's almost paid off. We're house hunting. I don't like the idea of a $3,500 mortgage, normal in our H-Colo area, but we want a baby and are currently on the 3rd floor of an apartment building, so finding a new place is step 1. Got a decent raise last year, doubled salary from 80K 160K, and am struggling to come to terms with housing. Should be 30 of your salary still being more than double what we're currently paying. Story 117, 36 years old, 41 days post-stem cell transplant for my cancer. Still unable to drive because the doctor still doesn't want me to get, but everything is looking great. I've been blessed, even though it has been one of the hardest things to go through for about a year and a half. Rug ripped right out from under me. I celebrated yesterday with a 7-mile hike. It was strenuous, but I did it. I'm proud. Story 118, 27. And, I honestly wake up every morning wishing that I hadn't, and I spend a lot of my free time asking God why he won't just finish me off already. LOL. Story 119. I'm in my mid-20s and can't complain. I've fulfilled all my immediate financial obligations, leaving me no goals to aspire for, but also have no motivation to make new goals. Just sort of existing in safe contentment. Story 120. Early 30s, and honestly not bad. I'd like to have kids, but my current environment doesn't really allow that. Story 121. 44, and I'm at peace mostly. Honestly, the only thing I could ever wish for is to win the lottery. I have an amazing husband. My kid is healthy and happy and a wonderful, sarcastic teenager. Decent job with decent pay and benefits. Is life perfect? No, but it doesn't have to be. What we have is enough. Story 122. Mid-30s, and life is really good. I fudge off most of my years, mostly gaming. Didn't get a college degree either, but have been a